Hey everybody, I'm Courtney Hashi, cookbook author and blogger. Welcome back to Court Kitchen. Today I'm making something really fun and pretty healthful actually, even as fun as it is. I'm making taco stuffed acorn squash. So for the squash, you cut it in half, root to root. But the best way to do, you see these divots in here, these lines? The best way to do it is go along one of those lines. Let it roll on your counter until it sits, and you can see right where the center is. It'll sit on its own. That's where you cut it, right along one of those lines. It's perfect. So we now, simple as this, oven 400 degrees. Make sure you preheat your oven to 400 degrees. We're just gonna put, you don't need as much as you think. You're just putting a tiny bit of olive oil on each of these. And then I use my brush. If you don't have a brush, use your fingers. No big deal. Okay, so just move it around. We're just looking for a very thin layer. You're looking like maybe, if you're lucky, a half teaspoon on each. I doubt it. It really brushes far. We're not looking for much. And then all we're gonna do, after we get the oil on, is just put a tiny bit of, guess what? Salt on the outside. Some people, for whatever reason, don't like eating the skin. But if you do like eating the skin, you want it to have salt on it, you want it seasoned. Some people just like to scoop everything out with a spoon. I usually go for figure, make the skin too. All right, so just a little bit. A little bit of salt from up top, real far, so it comes down equal. If you do it down here, you get big blobs of salt everywhere. So sprinkle from way up. Okay, now all we're gonna do, flip them over. Now the hardest part of this whole recipe, honestly, it's not hard, but it's fickle. It takes time. See these, how beautiful that is? It's taking the seeds and there's strings, lots of strings that are underneath, with the seeds and underneath the seeds. You have to get it all out. Just with a spoon, it takes a little bit. You have to scrape them all out. These are perfect the way they are. Now, of course, we have to put some olive oil. Again, you don't need nearly as much as you think. Half a teaspoon if you're lucky. And then again, I'm gonna use my brush. If you don't have a brush, use your fingers. No big whoop. Make sure you don't want it just pooling in the bottom, because obviously that's what will happen if you don't move it around. You want all the edges and the sides all to be covered and coated, because this is the side that's going down when we roast in our 400 degree oven. Now, as far as long in the oven, that depends upon the size of your squash. I consider these two acorn squashes about average. So it takes anywhere between 30 minutes and 45 minutes. If they're a little smaller than this, it'll be 30 minutes. Again, salt, just a little bit. Bring out the flavor, because this is the side you're definitely eating no matter what. And if it's a little smaller than this, it'll be 30 minutes. I have this as average, like I said, so I'm thinking probably about 35 minutes. If you get a big one, it's gonna take all of 45. These things don't grow like this, like pumpkins do, so you're not gonna get this really huge honking one. But if it's on the larger side, it'll take you that long. Okay? Now we roast them down flat. Like I said, 400 degrees. Set your timer for 30 minutes, no matter what size. Use your fork. You have to turn one over. Use tongs or whatever. Don't burn yourself. You have to turn one over and put your fork in. If it goes right in and it's nice and smooth, then it's done. Take it out. If it's not, put it in for another 5 minutes, check it again, and then another 5 and check it again. And no big deal. It has to just go in and out easy. Think of being able to eat it with a spoon. Okay, in the oven they go. Okay. Like I said, timer. I'll put on for 30. And check it after that. Okay, now we have our beef. Here's our beef over here. We're gonna season it to taste like a taco. So I have this, I'm gonna turn this up to about medium low heat. We're gonna start with salt. Now this is a pound of 90-10 beef. I like it on the leaner side most of the time. But for this, for tacos, I like it on the leaner side. So for a pound of beef, I say at least a teaspoon of salt per pound. I might put a little bit more in but I'd rather err on the side of caution. Once it's done browning, you can taste it and add if you want more. And pepper, that is always as much as you want. I usually always do half as much pepper to salt ratio. Now the seasonings that make it taste like taco. Ground cumin. We're doing 2 teaspoons of ground cumin. Might sound like a lot, but they're tacos. And these are the things that make them taste like taco instead of buying those packets. And I'm pretty sure you probably have all this in your pantry. This is chili powder, 2 teaspoons of this as well. And you know I don't measure, but bring out your measurements. 1 teaspoon granulated onion. And what goes with everything with granulated onion would be granulated garlic. Perfect. And then paprika. Teaspoon of paprika. Now I'm just using regular old paprika here. Oh my gosh, I'm almost out. I'm gonna have to use it all. I'm using regular old paprika. I would say I love smoked paprika. Now I'm just gonna mix it up. I need to get this seasoning mixed in with the beef before I can move on, because the seasoning needs to get all around. It needs to toast a little bit so that it doesn't taste raw. So we're just getting moved around for a couple seconds. Then I'm gonna move on to pico. I love pico with tacos. It's so bright and fresh. Okay, perfect. I have it broken up and all the seasonings are mixed in. Excellent. So we can let that go. I'm gonna turn it down to low now. I don't like it to be seared. I just want it to cook through. Okay, so pico. We have, pico is just tomato, onion, lime juice, jalapeno, and cilantro. I already have the tomato and onion finely diced here. As far as the onion, I'm using red. You can use white, you can use yellow. Soak your onion after you chopped it up in a little bowl of water. You have time today because you're waiting on that to roast. Cold water, let it soak for at least 10 minutes. Strain it out and then make sure you dry it off. Don't put it in there wet. Make it dry with paper towel or a towel. Now the rest of it, now big tip, don't salt this if you make this prior. It will draw all of the water out of the tomatoes. Cut your jalapeno in half. And then you'll end up with this pool of water at the bottom. So you can do all this ahead of time, other than the lime juice, salt, and the cilantro. You want it right before you serve. Okay, now, you know the ribs and the seeds is the hottest part, the ribs especially. You don't want it hot, you don't like heat. Do this. You don't need to use a knife. And look, you barely touched it. Use a spoon. Now, I like heat. So I'm keeping all the ribs in season one half, and the other half. Okay, we got all of our jalapeno in there, chopped it in there. Now the only thing left to do is lime juice. Juice of 1 lime. I almost said lime of 1 juice. Juice of 1 lime. Brightens it up. Of lime juice. I love acid. Lemon is the best. Aren't these squeezers the best too? So easy on your hands. Okay, so now cilantro. These fine herbs, you shouldn't like beat the crap out of them. Chefs would call it bruising it. And most people, I think, just pull the leaves off and put them in whole. You saw what I just did. I just like 1 through 3, 1, 2. That's it. You don't want to overdo it. The fresh herbs. Now is when we salt. Now you need, I'd say, about a ½ teaspoon of salt. Start there. Give it a taste. Because the acid, the lime does a good job with that. And I'm going to add, of course, some black pepper as well. If you don't want to, you don't have to. But it's a different completely different heat than the jalapeno. Right? Let's mix her up. And that's our pico. That's all she wrote. All right, so let's go back and check our, okay, yeah, this is looking good. So this is almost cooked through. So the second this is all cooked through, I'm going to turn it down to low just so it stays warm. Because we want everything to be warm when we put this in the hot squash. So the squash is going, squash will be done. Again, anywhere between 30 to 45 minutes. Check it after 30. We're gonna finish it, let this go until it's done, turn it down below, and when these are done, we'll pull them out and we'll stuff them. See you in a few minutes. Okay, we're back. Our meat is still warm. Now, I forgot to mention that at the end, with all our seasonings and everything, I put in about 2 tablespoons of your fresh, out of the store salsa. About 2 tablespoons, it keeps it moist. And after it's sitting, these are in the oven. These took exactly 35 minutes, like I thought. So if yours take, doesn't matter, 30, 35 minutes, this is gonna be sitting for a while. So if it starts to get a little dry on you, just use some stock water or some more salsa, whatever you want. And just check on that intermediately. So now these really, really hot squash, I'm gonna put like a little, I'm only gonna put a tiny bit in first. We'll see why in a second. These squash smell so good. Okay, put a tiny bit in first, now comes the cheese. I'm not going to tell you exactly how much cheese to use. This is just a Mexican blend, yeah, straight out of the store, so it's another corner that I cut with this recipe. This is one of the easiest recipes ever. The hardest part is cleaning the squash in the beginning and waiting for it to roast. That's about it. The rest of it is as simple as it gets. Now, wait, don't forget this guy. Cheese meat. Okay, now a little bit more beef. Top her all off. Perfect. Oh, again, I use 90-10 beef. This is a pretty healthful meal if you think about it. You have the acorn squash, very healthful. I use 90-10 beef, so that's not bad. And if you want, of course, you can use turkey. You can use whatever you and your family like best. Okay, I'm gonna top this, go figure, with more cheese. And then all I'm gonna do is stick it back in the 400-degree oven. Don't turn your oven off when you take these out. Fill them right away. The meat is hot. The acorn squash is screaming hot because it just came out of the oven, the screaming hot oven. So now all we're doing is putting this back in the 400-degree oven. It'll take, 2-3 minutes. When the cheese is melted on top, the cheese is certainly melted underneath, it's done. Take it out, see in about 2-3 minutes. Here it is, our beautiful taco stuffed acorn squash. See how the cheese has melted? So we know everything is really, really hot inside, which is gonna make it tough for me to taste this in front of you, but I'm doing it anyway. Okay, so we have our pico that we made earlier. This is what I like to put on the way I like to look at it is, this is what I like to put on anything taco. If it's a taco, this is what's going on mine. The pico goes first. Then, I know, I'm a salsa, literally a holic. I like the combination of the real fresh pico and then also a little bit of the jarred. I mean, they're completely different. I like them both. And then this, I call it a crema. You can use Mexican crema, which you won't have to thin out. But I'm using full-fat Greek yogurt. Obviously, you could use sour cream. So as you can see, I thinned it out. Now, I just used a little water, but if you have a lime sitting around, that'd be perfect as well. Put on some lime juice.
Could you use stock?
You can.
In the crema?
I have done that before. And then, this is just a wink and a nod, I guess, at what's in here. It's a taco filling in an acorn squash. Okay, let's go in. Yeah, this goes. Now I'm starting with a spoon, just because it'll be easier for me to taste. But then I'll move to a knife and fork because I do like eating the skin. I'm gonna have to go really little here. Oh. That's interesting. The squash is so naturally sweet and so tender, it melts in your mouth. And then you get all the cumin and chili powder and all those salty spices with the natural sweet. And then the toppings are so good. This might become your next favorite way to eat acorn squash. It's so good. You have to make this for your family and friends. They're absolutely gonna love it. Well, thank you for watching. Your likes, shares, and comments always make me happy, so keep them coming. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. Remember, hit Moby's cute little bell icon over there. If you haven't checked out my books, Cheddars and Jacobs for the Week, Continental Taste Volume 1, and Continental Taste Volume 2, they're all out. You can get them at Barnes & Noble, you can get them at Amazon, and you can go check out more recipes and fun things on my website, CourtneyHashley.com. And as you always know, till I see you again soon, I'm always sending hugs.